Shalom, shalom, testing, testing, testing. 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 All right, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to our powers. Yeah, Howard, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Brakataya Howard, Brakataya Howard Shai, Brakataya Howard, and Brakataya Howard Shai. Hey, call him Yahweh Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah HaKadash. Hey, give a double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that have taught us this truth that are constant, ruling well through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Hey, peace, mercy, and blessings to the beloved Akim that are out there pushing this word wholeheartedly in truth and in sincerity, that are not wavering to the left nor to the right, but constantly staying on that straight and narrow, fighting for your crowns in these last days that we are truly living in. Even shalom to the few sisters, the Akwabs that are out there, and even shalom to the Israelite foreigners, those that may look like the other nations, but their seed line is going back into our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm the brother Iraq coming back with another lesson, the Lord willing, edifying for the lambs of the Lord, which I pray that this camp is edifying to the Lord's elect. All right, and we're just gonna jump straight into prophecy, man. You know, all right, especially the major piece of prophecy, all right, which is the mark of the beast, which is the MOTB, okay, which the Lord, all right, Yahweh, all right, starting with the Heavenly Father, all right, through his son Yahweh Shai, has given the unction to his servants to understand and know all things in these last days, man. You know, all right, and we're supposed to what? Warn, all right, sound the alarm, blow the trumpet, okay, as the scripture tell you in Zion, all right, before what? That great and dreadful day that is fastly approaching, man. Okay, all right, and that's why we out here, man. All right, to give forth that warning, but we know that only a small portion of our people, which are the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, they're truly going to turn back, all right, to Yahweh Shai with a repentful mindset and start calling back on the true names of the Heavenly Father and His Son, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. All right, because majority of our people have been blinded, they have been alienated from this gospel, this good news. Okay, all right, and they still don't understand that the enemy, the self-proclaimed white man, all right, is mobilizing and setting up an encampment or trenches around them to besiege them in, all right, to lock them down and bring hellish conditions upon them, which is going to lead them further destroyed, man. All right, and most people are going to take that mark because why? They have not the spirit of faith. You know what I'm saying? So let's start with the book of Joel. Joel chapter 2, verse 1. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord coming, for it is nigh at hand. All right, so these major pieces of prophecies, all right, that are now being made manifest, which you could say manifesting means it's clear, you know. All right, all the signs and evidence are there right in front of you, especially just a Google away, you know. All right, which Google is now being powered by AI. It's no longer the same type of Google when you use your smartphone or your tablet to look things up. It's AI thinking and gathering information, all right, to publicly give you, you know. So as it's publicly giving you information, you could just type in, all right, what is the mark of the beast, you know. All right, you could just go into the information and it's going to break it down. What is CBDC? You know what I'm saying? All right, and you had that $1 million question, which was really a 2-cent question, you know, all right, from brother Ephraim, all right, who's going to implement it, man? And that's easy to answer, man. All right, that's easy to answer. It's going to be the elites, the banking families, all right, with the Edomites, man. All right, they're going to be the ones that's going to implement the mark of the beast and make it mandatory to what control the world. All right, because Esau has a God complex. All right, and just like the elder apostle Gabar goes into all the time that you have um uh I forget what it's called, but I posted it. But it's basically like the New World Order information, something Edward Griffin, But he goes into it that the elites have all the finances, they have the gold, they have the resources, they have the people under their control. All right, they have a strong military. Okay, they have their heart's desires. All right, so what else is there to excite the super elite, the super rich elite? Okay, is total control. All right. Matter of fact, let's get that in the book of Habakkuk. Let's go to the second chapter. All right, this is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. All right. So the prophecies are speaking. The watchmen are on the towers, all right, sounding the alarm, blowing the trumpet, giving an a distinction of what to pay attention to and to watch out for. All right, because what trouble and war is here, man. All right, trouble and war is here. You see what's going on with ice melting all through Babylon, man. You know what I'm saying? Snatching up the northern kingdom. All right, and see, you got the northern kingdom that's on alert and they're afraid right now. That's why you starting to see all the different spots like Home Depot. They starting to vacate the parking lot, man. All right, the different frutas, the Northern Kingdom women that be on the side of the freeways selling the flautas. You don't see Northern Kingdom out there like that, okay? Because they afraid to get what snatched and grabbed like they've been paying them to do. You know what I'm saying? All right, which they're getting ready to fund them billions of dollars more in order to what? Keep grabbing up these individuals, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, which they all disappearing. The Vallatas, you know what I'm saying? The Cardenas, all right? The Mexican markets that you go to, all right? Hey, a lot of Northern Kingdom are not showing up to work because they're afraid, all right, to be detained and to taken to an unmarked location that you're never going to see them again at, All right, that's trouble, man. For you to be separated from your family, but hey, you thought that you was an American, you thought that you were better than the so-called Negro, okay? All right, the kingdoms are now finding out that the Heavenly Father Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and His Son, all right, are angry at you, okay? Because you're no better than the so-called Negroes. Because why? We're oppressed together, man. The so-called Negroes and Hispanics, all right, we're actually come from the same forefather, which is our forefather Jacob, which is his name got changed to Israel, which at first it was Yaiquab, all right, supplanter, all right. It's not it rightfully known that Jacob is a supplanter, a plain man that liked to dwell in tents, but he wrestled an angel, okay, and he fought for the promise, which his name got later changed to Israel. All right, Yahshua Allah. He Yah meaning he, and Shah meaning prince, and Allah meaning power. He who is a prince of the power, man. Okay, all right. Hey, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, all right, we're actually come from a long line of list of royalty, okay, all right. But here in America, okay, we're considered as servants, but really, according to the Bible, we're known as princes. Matter of fact, let me get that real fast. Hold on, give me a second. Let me get that real fast. All right. Let me see. I know it's somewhere in a. This is I know it's in Ecclesiastes. So bear with me, Akim. And Lord willing, y'all can hear me because I'm using the mic too. Lord willing, y'all brothers can hear me, man. All right, so let me get this real fast. This is let me see. Some reason I can't. It says something about princes walking upon the earth. If a brother could post it too, that'll help out too as well. All right. Let me see. I passed it.
That shit right.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Yep. You talking about the so-called white man, right?
Yeah, you a cold piece of that one out here.
Yeah, I mean it's the truth according to the Bible, bro. You know? Hey, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, he's a so-called Negro, dark skin like us, bro.
Yeah, like bull.
Yeah, exactly. You had the so-called white man that painted his image over the Lord to make him seem like he is our God, and then manipulated our people during the time of slavery to start pushing that Jesus was our savior.
So they put that in our hand. That wasn't a part of our culture. They put it in our
Exactly. Hey, Psalms the 83rd chapter, bro. It's a tumult against us, to keep us divided, to keep us conquered, dumbed down. You know what I'm saying? And now that the word is out at the forefront, the gospel is being spread to our people, that it's time to forsake that idol and then to start practicing our heritage again, worshiping our true powers, calling back on their true names, man. Because hey, the time of evil is coming, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah, we in some desperate times, some evil times, bro. You know what I mean? And shit is only gonna keep getting harder, bro. You know what I mean? So, hey, America destined for destruction, man, according to the scriptures, bro.
What are you live on?
I'm on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on you. Y'all can subscribe to the channel. It's type in Stand Fast in Faith. Ford.
Stand Fast in Faith?
Yeah.
I'll let it flick up with you and interview you or something, bro. I'll let it interview you and talk.
You like on a podcast or something?
No, I just got a little microphone and some more things, but I will do a little setup with you. We can sit down and do it real efficient.
Yeah, just send me a message, bro, and we'll figure things out. Yeah, just send me a message. What's your name?
I'm Kay.
Kay, Ira.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, brother. Nice to meet you, brother.
I do anything. If you need flyers, anything. It doesn't even matter.
Okay.
Whatever the hell. I even do printouts like these.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, I make printouts. Like I do everything you can think of. So.
Okay.
Where the hell were you at?
Right here on Saturdays, bro. Right here.
You ain't got no little church thing you going to?
Well, this is the church. This is the church. This is the Lord said to go out to the highways and hedges and just compel our people to come in. You know what I'm saying? So we bring out the sign, which is the 12 tribe sign, which consists of the so-called Negroes and Hispanics and Native Americans, bro. You know what I mean? Like we're all God's chosen people. We're all one people. You know.
What they say, we are hunter-gatherers type. We all do come from the land, for sure.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, my man, I'm gonna hit you.
All right, brother, man. Y'all have a good day, man. Y'all enjoy it. All right, no doubt. All right, let me go back to where I was at. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 7. Matter of fact, let me start at verse 6. It says, "Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place." It says, "I have seen servants upon horses and princes walk as servants upon the earth." All right. It says the people feel something is coming. Hey, Shalom, brother, Shalom. Y'all about to brother, Shalom. That's right, brother. You know, hey, the people can. The people definitely can feel something is coming. The truth. Matter of fact, you just sparked it, bro. You just sparked it. The truth that has been so long without fruit is now being declared. You know what I'm saying? So the word is like a wildfire that cannot be contained. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I believe that it links up with I think Revelations the 9th chapter, that great fear fell upon Esau, because he's seeing us like they just popping up all over. You know what I'm saying? Even though that there's Israelites out there that don't have the correct doctrine, that still have a surface level way of thinking, and they're able to articulate that they're from the tribe of Judah, Issachar, and Levi, and Manasseh. They still know that they're Israelites. You know what I'm saying? So they got the ideal of pushing that we're the people of the Bible, people of God, man. So that's still the spirit of the Lord right there, even though that they off, you know. So that still speaks to somebody else, especially if somebody wants to inquire of this thing, you know. Hey, nothing bad and all things good work in favor of this ministry being pushed. You know what I'm saying, brother? Hey, that's real. I'm gonna grab the precepts that you just put up. Those are bad ones right there. Those man, brother, throughout them. Isaiah 55:6. It says, "Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thought, and let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our power, for he will abundantly pardon." You know, and that's not just these Edomites that are out here that are the wicked according to the Bible, you know, because you have Job 9:24, the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, all right, the super elite rich, the banking families, the DuPonts, the Bilderbergs, the Rothschilds, you know, the Oppenheimers, you know what I'm saying? Those are the individuals that really truly run the world, the ones that you really don't see. But they're not the wicked that is speaking about in Isaiah 55, all right? That's going into our people that are in a Babylonish way, all right? A heathen mindset, you know what I'm saying? That believe that they're Americans, you know, all right? And then guess what? Now our people are starting to find out that the American dream is sinking like the Titanic, all right? Which, hey, Lord's, you know, I believe that it wasn't an iceberg that destroyed the Titanic. I have no proof on it, you know, but it could have been a large creature that destroyed the Titanic. You know what I'm saying? All right. But who knows? But I do know that there's some information out there that goes into you had prominent men that were actually on the boat of the Titanic that were opposed to the elite's plan, so they end up being put to death. You know, more righteous work, so to speak. You know. But yeah, all right, the wicked of our people, all right, they'll find out that the American dream is sinking. You know what I'm saying? All right, and we weren't brought to America for our peace, our rest, you know, to live life. Okay, all right, this is not where we're supposed to live life. You know, that's why, even matter of fact, let me get this in the book of Hebrews. Let me go there real fast. I'll go back to Habakkuk. Let me go to the book of Hebrews. All right, because even Moses, you know, he was raised up in a time of Egypt, you know, and you know he got sent away by his mother to be saved, and he got picked up by the daughter of Pharaoh. So the daughter of Pharaoh really raised Moses to be a so-called Egyptian. You know, he got raised up in royalty and luxury. So he could have constantly always had an Egyptian mindset, or to been over his people, thinking that he was not them, you know. But the Most High changed Moses' mind, just like the Most High through his son Yahushua is changing our minds to actually turn back to him. You know what I'm saying? All right. So that's spiritual. All right. Because Moses grew up in Egypt. All right. Let me get that real fast. Hold on. Because this thing is about faith. That's what makes all of us brethren turn back to Yahweh by Shema Shai, is through faith. All right. Brothers that come, listen, and learn. All right. Brothers that stick with this thing and they don't depart. You know, brothers that truly fear Yahweh by Shema Shai, and they want to be saved from the coming destruction and Jacob's trouble. All right. That's all done through faith that is given, you know. So let me go right here to I got to highlight it too. That's spirit. Yeah, Hebrews 11 and 23. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me start at the top. Hold on. Let me start at the top. Hebrews 11 and 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the world was framed by the word of the Most High, right? Which is very deep. Okay, Genesis, the first chapter, all right, where Genesis goes into the beginning, all right. But when you go into the first chapter, the word God in the book of Genesis, when you look into it, it goes into the Alahayams, okay, which are the judges, which are the judges that actually helped create the world which we see with our Lord Yahushua. So it started with an idea, which was the Most High Yahweh that gave the blueprint to his son Yahushua to what? create the world.
Are you talking
Okay,
or to the camera?
I'm talking to the wind and I'm talking to the camera.
Okay, but I'm here now.
Okay, that's fine.
I have a question.
That's fine. What's
Are
your question, man?
the notion that that Christ was black, or are you advancing Christianity?
I'm proclaiming that the one who the world calls Jesus Christ, he's of the tribe of Judah, and the tribe of Judah came from the son, the man Jacob, and they're Israelites. They're so-called black men. That's what I'm speaking on.
But what I'm hearing, and I might be wrong, is that you're trying to advance the narrative, right or wrong, that not that Christ, the scripture is solid, but that it's black man driven.
No, that I didn't speak of color. When I mentioned when I just explained to you, I mentioned a nationality.
Right.
And then I said, and then I clarified it for you. I said so-called.
But you're making an express point that Christ was a Negro. I don't understand the value in that as it relates to scripture.
It's in the Bible. That's the value. Do you believe in the Bible?
I'm a believer, period.
Okay.
I don't care what color.
So,
but you're advancing the narrative that he was black. That's what you're emphasizing.
All right. You out of here.
Brother, we both love Christ. That's what matters.
All right, man. That's cool, man. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your day, man. Enjoy your day. Just enjoy your day, man. Enjoy your day, man. Enjoy your day, bro. Yeah, he tried to drop the mic, man. What the hell? Anyways, though, let me go back to where I was at. What's wrong? We not all the same, man. You know, when you go into the scriptures, man, and matter of fact, let me just get it. Hold on, let me get it. Hold on, I'm gonna go back to that. Let me get it real fast. Hold on. What did Yahweh Shai say? What did Yahweh Shai say? He said, "Who is my mother? Who is my father?" Yep, Mark. I think it's this one right here. Yep, here it is. I'm gonna get. Oh no, that's not it right there. That's not it. That was another one though. Give me a second. You know, I'll just get that one straight to the point. It's straight to the point. I'll just get that one. All right, Mark 3 and 31. It says, there came then his brother and his mother, and standing without, sent unto him, calling him. And the multitude sat about him, and they said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren without seeketh for thee. So they was, you know, his mother was calling him, Yahweh Shai. Like what? You know? He said, and he answered them, saying, who is my mother and my brethren? And he looked around about on them which sat about him, and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my power, the same is my brother and my sister and my mother. So, you know, if you believe in the doctrine, if you believe in this gospel, you got to believe in it entirely, you know? All right, this ain't no narrative that we speaking. This ain't no we adding on to the word, taking away from the word. We're not coming in a Christianity mindset, you know? When we speak the gospel, we speaking in according to what Yahweh Bashim Shai has opened our minds to understand, all right? To give the whole thing. That's why we believe, like the Paul said, we got 100% truth. Yahweh Shai had 100% truth, you know? All right, so if we be Yahweh Shai's friends, you know, he said, everything that the Father has made known unto me, I have declared it unto you. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we understand these things, okay? So I'm gonna go back, especially the deep mysteries. You know, what is that? Amos. I have given pretty much my words and my judgment to the servants, you know, the prophets, you know. So let me go back to Hebrews 11 and verse 23. I'm sorry, yeah, in verse, matter of fact, I didn't, matter of fact, I was Hebrews 11 and 3, it says, through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of the Most High, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. By faith, Abel offered unto Yahweh a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, but the Most High testifying of his gift, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. By faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because the Most High had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased the Most High. All right. And Enoch, when you go into the Apocrypha, you actually had his name was also Yahweh Shai. Okay. But he was speaking on how in the history Enoch repented daily, you know, all right, which is likened unto what we're doing now, you know, all right, repenting daily, okay, giving up the proper sacrifices, all right, just like the Lord commanded us to do in order for it to please Yahweh by Shema Shai, man, you know, all right, to be saved, man, you know, to be rescued, okay, all right, which doing what's right in the eyes of the Yahweh by Shema Shai, upholding your integrity, being sincere, okay, is how the Lord what has favor upon us, and we're gonna need that favor. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was about to speak about what Chief Ephraim was asking, you know, before I started going into Moses, you know, but that time is coming where all our faith is getting ready to be tried upon the earth. You know what I'm saying? Because you do have over 130 countries that are now joining into the CBDC platforms, okay? Where CBDC stands for Central Digital Bank Currency, okay? And right now you have decentralized money. That means that everybody can have a piece of the pie, you know what I'm saying? And accumulate wealth. Even though that wealth can be sabotaged and taken from you, you know, what's an example of that? Goddamn Sean P. Diddy, you know, that nigga was on top of the world. You know what I'm saying? Cincinnati, that nigga was doing this, you know, he's doing his little dance and shit. You know what I'm saying? All right, and doing all type of manners of wickedness. You know, you hear about the stories that Jaguar Wright was going into, murdering. You know what I'm saying? Individuals, all right, and then totally getting off, or things getting swept under the rug, you know. But then, you know, as he accumulated all that wealth and became that pretty much the top of the brulee, you know, so-called black excellency. There's no such thing as black excellence, you know. The word associated with black, if anything, means negative, void of judgment, are pretty much destroyed, you know. So-called black excellence, that's the it's like a lower level of Masonic Illuminati type of deal, you know. But look how the real ones that run shit, look how they just threw his ass in prison, you know. All right, threw his ass in prison, okay. You know, which all them individuals is nasty that's in Hollywood, man. You know, all right, all these top governors, officials, you know what I'm saying, politicians, you know, presidents, they all get down with all them freaky ass parties, you know what I'm saying? All their names is on that Epstein list. That's why still to this day they don't got the true Epstein list coming out, because they know that their names is on it and they've been doing these things, but they want to push the narrative on Jake as if Jake is the forefront of drugging, doing all type of perversions and sexual perversions, you know. All right, which these Edomites are heavily into those type of things, man. You know, all right, but they have the power, you know, and the wicked, they don't hold themselves accountable for the things that they have done. Okay, all right, but they'll use Jake as a face in the fall guy for the shit that they've been doing, just like Biden, you know. Sleepy Joe, you see him smelling and sniffing little girls' hairs, finding little children under his administration. You got thousands of Northern Kingdom children that just went missing. You know, they just recently found hundreds of bodies. I want to say towards the Bohemian Grove. You know, where they do heavily sacrifice. You had the boxer, whether he was doing it for you know, clickbait, But the boxer Ryan Garcia, you know, Ryan Garcia said that he was tied to a tree, molested and touched in certain manners, all right, at the Bohemian Grove. These places do exist, which all those things tie back into what? Satanism, all right? The demonic practices, demonic worships that go on here in Babylon the Great, all right? Which is another reason why Babylon is going to be destroyed. It's another reason why Babylon is going to be destroyed, man. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, give me a second. I can put some of these on the coals, some of this resin. All right, so let me go back. Let me go back. Yeah, that's a good one right there. Psalm 64 and 2. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Right? It says, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not, you know? So they got counsels. Like I was watching a video, it might have been AI created, you know, because you got a lot of witchcraft and sorcery with this AI now, you know. All right, a lot of idolatry that's coming with it. But the video that I seen was you had these Edomites in like the 1800s, 1700s that went into a barn and were having a secret council, and they were speaking on how shall we keep them from serving their God. You know, how should we keep them from serving their power? You know, and you had one of them had a clever idea. His light bulb went up on his head, bing, and then the screen flips to Jake standing right there at the podium with the Bible in his hand, saying, "Slaves, thou shalt serve thy master and thy master only," which they got a slave Bible. You know, they have the slavery Bible. You can look up the slavery Bible, okay? And the slavery Bible has all the prolific historic accounts of the miraculous wonders of our forefathers, what the Most High did for our people during the time of the flood, during the time of Joshua and Jericho. You know what I'm saying? All right, during the time of Nebuchadnezzar and the three holy children, you know, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, took out all them books, you know, and left only them scriptures for us to be what? Controlled and manipulated. You know what I'm saying? All right. And matter of fact, brother, if you can you get that scripture for me where it tells you in the book of Deuteronomy? It might be the 39th chapter, but it says, happy is he who have found our enemies to be liars, man. You know, all right, because that's where we at right now. We know that the Edomite man is a goddamn liar, man. You know, all right, and now no longer are we standing upon him who have smote us, who has trodden us down underfoot, who has segregated us, who has divided us as a people. You know, now we don't believe his narratives no more because what? We have an unction. We have the spirit. We have been endowed, okay? You know, all right, through the Holy Spirit to what? Wake up. All right, just like the Lord said was going to happen to the remnant in these last days. Knowing that we have but a short time is now a high time to awake out of sleep. For what? Our salvation is nearer than when we believe, all right? What are we going to be saved from? We're going to be saved from the destruction that's coming to this place, you know? All right? That's why prophecy is so prolific, man, you know? All right? Understand the prophecy, okay? All right? But these devils are being exposed for the lies that they have been. You know what I'm saying? And then you see in that AI video, you see the Jake that are speaking to his people saying, worship thy masters only. And then you see the next scene where there's a Jake that's pretty much playing like Kentakute. He's beaten with the lashes, and I forget what name he said, but it was a spiritual name. I'm gonna just say Hawashai. I'm gonna say Hosea. It's not, he didn't say his name was Hosea, but I'm gonna use Hosea, you know. So basically he said in the Hebrew though, Hawashai, you know, which that means deliverer, you know. So they know, all right. Even AI knows. AI is being quantified and advanced to the point where it's picking up all type of information that's hitting the YouTube, the World Wide Web, these other websites, okay, and it's starting to feed itself, and it's starting to generate certain narratives that are really on point, you know? Matter of fact, let me get it real fast. Hold on, let me go back. I'm gonna come back to this. Let me come back. Oh, it's 30. It's 33. Thwada, brother, 33. Deuteronomy 33 and 29. Slack it, brother. Deuteronomy 33 and 29. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people, saved by the Lord, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency, and thine enemy shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places, man. You know? So that's what we're doing right now through the Spirit. Okay? All right, we're treading down on the high places via the word, you know? All right. Matter of fact, let me get a precept real fast, brother. Hold on. Let me go to Baruch. It's one of my favorites. Baruch, the 5th chapter. Let me get it real fast. Hold on. Where you at, Baruch? Go on. There we go. Baruch chapter 5, verse 1. It says, put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of mourning and affliction, and put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from the Most High forever. So the garment that we putting on now is this knowledge, you know, understanding who we are. Just like Peter, the beloved apostle Peter, he was going into how the Lord has stirred up our minds by a pure way of remembrance, you know, to understand who we are as a people. Okay, all the different that happened to us was because of our disobedience. We now understand why. You know, we understand why we're here. We understand what is our purpose. All right, especially as an Israelite man, you know, your purpose is not to be a ball player. That's what that's another thing they showed you in that little AI video. They show you how to give the people bread and circus. You know, create basketball players. You know what I'm saying? Or exploit basketball players, Jake, they got talent, and give them a lot of money. Give them a lot of money, so that way they will never rise up or revolt against us, and then they will also be used as tools to what? Influence the minds of the people. All right, they go into how we should control their music. They show you that in the video, and give them another culture. You know what I'm saying? So everything that you see has been artificially given to you. You know, which one of the words that you could look into is called ethnicide culture. Ethnicide culture. Matter of fact, let me get it real fast. Hold on. Let me get it real fast. Hold on. You know, it's a beautiful thing having this knowledge, man. You know, Thwadi how about Shema Shy, man. You know, all right, just to teach. Let me get the word ethnicide. Hold on.
He just want to tell you.
I'm listening. Okay. Okay.
I was like, what
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Yeah. I appreciate y'all. Many blessings to y'all. Many blessings to y'all. Hey, you know, hey, when you sincerely out here, you know, serving your house by shy, man, hey, the Lord put the spirit on those that come to your defense. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they was talking about Esau. I came trying to disrupt me earlier, but it's all good. That's part of what we deal with out here. You know, it's all good. But let me see. Now that's ethnicity, coach. Let me see. Ethnocide. Let me get the word. Hold on. Ethnocide. All right. There it is. Ethnocide. And this is a heavy word right here. All right. The word ethnocide is the extermination or destruction of ethnic identities. You see? All right. What was the identity that they want to destroy the most? Us, as us being God's chosen people. You know, Deuteronomy 7:6, that thou should be the greatest people above all people on the planet Earth. That applies to us, man. You know, all right. The laws, statutes, and commandments that were given unto so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans during the time of the wilderness. You know, when we were traveling for 40 years. All right. So that was for us, man. You know, the connection that we have to who the world calls God, you know, to who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. All right, those are our powers, man. So they wanted to sever that going into Psalms, the 2nd chapter, you know, as well. Okay. Let us break thy bands, you know, okay? Separate their chords. And then we're going to give them rap music. We're gonna tell the rappers, you know, walk around in your music video with styrofoam cups. Put tattoos all over your body. Matter of fact, put tattoos all over your face. You know what I'm saying? We gonna pay women like Sexy Red, which come to find out, Sexy Red was is a goddamn CIA operative. You know, she's an industry plant used to destroy Israelite young women, and it makes sense. You know, because you got our people that are wicked as hell, that became more wicked than the wicked, that will sell out their own people for money. And that's been happening since ancient times, you know? So it's going to happen now because them same spirits is back. They perfect for the white man's plan, you know? All right? But you see on that video, you see Jake, you know, Jake out there next to the nice rented car. You know what I'm saying? Got the nice rented jewelry on that in that little AI video. They out there with his crew smoking blunts, doing a rap video, just like these niggas today. You know what I'm saying? All right? Giving you a culture that destroys you, that has nothing to do with your true nationality, of whom you are, you know, which will further give them the reasons to go behind closed doors and pray against you and say, look at your people. Look at your people, God. Your people supposed to be holy. The accuser of thy brethren. He accusing us. But this nigga the one perpetuating it. You know? It says right here. But Bartolome Clavero differentiates ethnocide from genocide by stating that genocide kills people, which is going on in Gaza, with them 1948ers is doing. They bombing the hell out of them Palestinians, you know? And then look how the Lord returned the favor back on them, you know? Even though that both of them don't belong in the land, but them 1948ers, them JOOs-ish people, the Lord got the Carmenians, the Iranians, dropping bombs on their ass, you know? Look how the Most High is doing them 1948ers, them imposters, you know? They're the ones committing genocide where the whole world is watching. The whole world can see that they slaughtering people, you know? And then they even try to do it during the Super Bowl. Do a mass slaughter and push the people down to I forget what part of Israel that is, but they were trying to push them down into Egypt, you know, while the Super Bowl was going on, and that shit got exposed, you know. So the Lord is sending payback on them, which their domes, you know, their missile defenses are not able to stop all the missiles that are dropping down on Israel right now, you know, hitting Tel Aviv. Now they schools is being destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Now they hospitals is being destroyed, you know. They cities are turned into rubbles, all right, desolate heaps of ashes, you know, all right. Which more that is going to come, because that's that. And what them Iranians is doing, that's a prelude to the big one, you know. All right, Israel's going to be destroyed too by thermonuclear missiles, man. Because you got Pink City that's in Israel, that them 1948ers is currency over there doing wickedness, man. You know, all right, all type of same sex is going on, you know, all right, men with men, women with women, working what is unseemly, all right, spewing forth the errors of their way, which the Most High recompenses them for by what? Diseases, man, you know, all right. So you know there's a lot of diseases going on over there, man. You know what I'm saying, with them nasty peoples, all right. Hey, the land is living too, you know. The land of Israel it has a spirit too, you know. Hey, go back into the time of the Assyrians that put the Palestinians in there, and they were doing all type of witchcraft and wickedness in the land. The Lord sent lions on their ass, you know. Was to devour them, you know, because they were doing all type of wickedness. So you know that the land is coming up against them, you know. They might not speak about it, all right, but that's why we got the scriptures for. But let me keep going though. All right, so it says genocide kills people, while ethnocide kills social cultures through the killing of individual souls. Woo! You know, Esau know how to target your spirit. That's how deep Esau goes. Like the brother brought out the water for that too. The brother brought out Psalms the 64th chapter. You know, all right. The heart of these devils are deep, man. You know what I'm saying? They know how to manipulate and control your spirit. They know how to move your mind, man. Matter of fact, government, if I believe the word to be correct, the definition of it, government goes into mind control. You know, when you break down the word government, it goes into mind control. You know, all right. So Esau, that's governing over the people, he knows how to use tactics to manipulate your spirits. You know, which are to destroy you, and he uses people just like you to persuade your mind. Ain't that some shit, man? All this gang shit. You know, remember that dude Boot Gang? You know, that was like the first gremlin that was kind of like on social media. Boot Gang, a whole lot of gang shit, robbing shit. You know what I'm saying? He was jacking cell phones and then just dipping off, nigga just dipping. You know what I'm saying? People just chasing him down. Then you had that one fat ass nigga that was getting on the camera, on the counters, pouring shit on him. You know, Esau pushes individuals to do a whole lot of degenerate ass shit. You know, all right, and now look, that's the big wave now. You know, where you got a bunch of jakes that do goofy shit in order for them to be seen. Folly is set in great dignity. If you want to be famous, if you want to be somebody renowned in this life, you gotta go do stupid shit, man. You know, all right, which is more of a shame to our people. All right, this is all given to us. So it says, let me see. It says a social culture through the killing of individual souls. According to Martin Shaw, ethnocide is a core part of physically violent genocide. Some substitute cultural genocide for ethnocide, and others argue the distinction between ethnicity and culture. Culture, genocide, and ethnocide have been used in different contexts. While the term ethnocide and ethnic cleansing are similar, the intent of their use varies. The term ethnic cleansing has been criticized as a euphemism used for genocide denial, while ethnocide tries to facilitate the opposite. You know, so they've been facilitate the way our people are. So being raised in the ghettos. Matter of fact, let me get a precept. Hold on, let me get a precept, because the scriptures speak about that our people have become what? A degenerate vine unto the Lord. Let me grab that as well. Hold on. I know I'm in the book of Baruch, but I'm gonna come back to that. All right, hold on. Give me a second, Akim. Lord one, I spelled that right. Yep. All praise to Yahweh Shema Shai. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21. It says, "Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, holy, a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?" You see, all right. That degeneracy, it goes into you generating yourself backwards, because the word D means to go backwards, and then generate means to move forward. You know, so you can't progress if you're constantly declining. You know what I'm saying? So our people have become degenerates, strange vines. At a point in time, we used to be a precious fruit. We used to be royalty, kings, man. You know, you had who was it? Sheba, if I'm not mistaken. You had Sheba that came to Solomon to hear of his wisdom. You know, and as she was listening before she even heard Solomon's wisdom, she seen the doorman, and she looked at him and she was like, "Are you Solomon?" And he was like, oh, nah, look, baby, I ain't Solomon, you know. But he was so decked out in so much of had royalty, you know, fine linen, clean clothing, you know, gold all over him, that she thought it was him until she walked into the inner courts and met the man himself and heard of his wisdom that have spread throughout the countries, man. You know, all right. Solomon being the wisest man, which we believe that Solomon is Yahweh Shai, man, and the reincarnation. You know, all right. He was the wisest man. All right. So we had that nobility about us, man. We carried ourselves as royalty, you know. But then look how far low we got brought in. Look how much of the vibration has been lowered, okay, from being under the heathens, man. You know, this is why the Lord doesn't want us mingling with the heathens, you know, learning of their ways, practicing their culture, sacrificing unto their gods, because it destroys us and then it becomes a cancer into our people. You know, it's like a virus that spreads to the point that our people, when you read that book of Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter, it goes into that. How our people were hiding in the matter of fact, hold on. Let me get it real fast. Let me read up. Hold on, let me read up. Let me see. Jeremiah 2:17. Let me read up a little bit. It says, hast thou not procured this unto thyself, and that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy power when he led thee by the way? And now, what hast thou to do in the way of Egypt, to drink the waters of Sihor? And what hast thou to do in the way of Assyria, to drink the waters of the rivers? Thine own wickedness shall correct thee. And we know that the waters can also be symbolized as different philosophies and understanding, different ways, you know. All right, you drinking of another way. All right, just like Yahweh Shai said, you should drink of this well, you shall never thirst. The understanding you should get shall always keep you spiritually hydrated. You eat of this fruit, you should never be hungry again. You know, you're going to be nourished properly, you know, when you eat of this understanding. But our people were enjoying the fact that they were learning of the heathens, committing idolatry. You know, the women were crying unto Tammuz, baking pies to Tammuz, the queen of heaven worship. And you got that going on heavily now. Hey, shit, our grandparents, you know, your grandmother is pushing feminism, independence down to her daughters, which eventually became your auntie. You know what I'm saying? Your auntie, you know, because your grandmother's son had you. Your auntie's a feminine woman that independent, proud, you know, and that constant mindset that the woman is better than the man comes from what? The queen of heaven worship, you know. All right, just like they put Mother's Day always before Father's Day, you know, and it lands on what I believe like a Sunday, which goes back into what? The worship of the sun god, you know, the same day that the Christians go to church on is Sunday, you know, all goes back into idolatry. Same thing with Father's Day, all right, one day out of the year, which they totally disrespect the men here, showing that they put the woman on the pedestal here, because Father's Day comes after Mother's Day. Let's say it was a day. Our day should be first, right? Because the man comes before the woman. And then they put our day in the month of June, you know? In the month of June, what's in the month of June? You got pride. June was given into pride, the alphabet people, you know? So that's a slap on the Israelite man's face. You know what I'm saying? All right, you gotta share a month with the alphabet people, and then on top of that, they want to put Juneteenth in this month. You know, Esau does these things by design, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, to make mockery of our people. You're not free here. You know, true freedom comes with what? Us first serving Yahweh by Shema Shai, because we become mentally free, and then when Yahweh Shai comes as the destruction is raining down upon this place, Yahweh Shai is going to deliver and gather the elect to completely free us from this hellish captivity, man. You know, all right, free us from this bondage, man. You know, change our bodies, change us from ourselves. We need to be changed from ourselves, goddamn it. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Because being here, it constantly keeps our people in a cycle of being destroyed, man. You know, so we need to be free from this place. But let me read back though, Jeremiah 2 and 17. I'm sorry, in verse 19. It says, thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy power, and that my fear is not in thee, said the Lord Yahweh of hosts. For of old times I have broken the yoke and burst thy bands, and said, I will not transgress. And and when I'm sorry, not transgress, when upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wonderest playing the harlot. You see, our people wondrous playing the harlot. You know, they went into the high places, they sacrificed, you know, they committed idolatry against the Most High. You know what I'm saying? All right. And as if the Most High didn't see these things. All right. This is what led to the downfall of our people. The reason why the Babylonians came during the time of Jeremiah, you know, and desecrated our temples. You know what I'm saying? All right. Nebuchadnezzar ruled over us. That was because of what? Our people going off. You know? Just like our people are doing today. Worshiping themselves, worshiping the woman, worshiping everything under the stars, worshiping things in the heavens, instead of worshiping the true powers of the heavens and the earth. The ones that created these things, you know? So that's it on that, brothers. I'm gonna go back to that where was I at? Oh yeah, I was reading in Baruch. I was reading in Baruch 5, but I'm gonna go back to that Hebrews. Baruch 5 and 1. Again, it says, put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of mourning and affliction, and put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from the Most High forever. All right. It's, you know, you got jakes that do walk around with the garments on. They got the t-shirt fringes with the garments, you know, which the fringes are a representation of remembering not to break the law, statutes, and commandments that Yahweh Shai has given us, you know, all right? But you don't gotta walk around every day with your fringes on, you know what I'm saying? We're in the land of drawing waters where we're rehearsing the righteous acts. There are things that we can do that's easy, you know, that we can perform, that we can follow. You know what I'm saying? You know, keeping the Sabbath, all right? Which a lot of jakes that, you know, follow like IUIC, their Sabbath is Friday sundown and Saturday sundown. So every week they going off, every month they going off, you know, all right? And they don't look into the etymology of words, because if they did, they would know that the word moon goes back into the word month. That's an easy Google, you know. Study to show thyself approved. But see what a lot of IUIC members do, which I've spoken to one personally, and he was telling me, and how he was telling me, let me know that they boast and them so-called being righteous, which I see why they push the law, the law, the law. And now I understand, because they feel like how they're living their life is according to how we were living our lives in the Bible, in this captivity, to where they're building a kingdom within a kingdom, you know? That's not what the Lord said to do. He didn't say build a kingdom inside of a kingdom, you know? All right, you see what happened during Tulsa, Oklahoma, you know, where Jake did build a kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Because Jake had it. Jake had it going on. Jake had schools. Jake had their own money. Jake had their own transportation. You know what I'm saying? Jake had their own built homes. And then Esau came and destroyed all that shit. Knocked it down. Because Esau's in the mindset of Pharaoh. Just like Donald J. Trump right now. The northern kingdom that you snatching and grabbing, you sitting away. Well, now your ass got to go do them dirty jobs. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to get your ass in the field and go pick that fruit. You know. Now you got to go build these houses. You know, get on a roof during the summertime when it's hot. You know, and let that sun touch your skin, which you know you hate when that sun is beaming on you, Edomites. All right, because the sun doesn't go good with unmelanated skin. You know, that's why Esau runs from the sun, because they're a natural leopard. The Most High cursed the so-called white man with leprosy, man. You know, all right. That's why there's the skin. It turns bright red easy because their skin is translucent. You know, they don't have melanated men. All right, the sun works well with us, gives us energy. You know what I'm saying? If you ever look, brothers, if you ever look, you got Edomites that will put on suntan lotion. You know, when the Edomites put on suntan lotion, if they put it under a UV light, the suntan lotion is actually black. You know, I wonder why the suntan lotion make your skin black. It's because they don't have melanin. They know that the sun rays and our skin, they join together. That's how the Lord made things to be, you know. But Esau got cursed. You know, Esau got cursed. All right, his ass got cursed. Um, but let me go back. Let me go back to it. I kind of lost my train of thought for a second. Matter of fact, I was talking about IUIC. Slacky. I was talking about IUIC for a second. So I lost my train of thought. Something threw me off and shit. But you had the man that was telling me, he was explaining like, oh yeah, we got deacons, we got bishops, you know, we got this, we got that. We the ones that are really keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, you know, like they really living in the kingdom in Babylon, you know. And I was just listening to him, I was just laughing in my head like, this dude is lost, this dude is through, you know. And he kind of shows up to work with his fringes on. He shows up with his fringes on. You can see it under his work outfit. You know what I'm saying? You see the fringes right there dangling. And I'll be just looking and laughing at him. You know what I'm saying? And he don't know that I know about the truth, but I just say, hey, what's up, brother? You know, how you doing, bro? You know, pass me one of their little IUIC flyers. You know what I'm saying? And I had looked at it and I read it, and I had seen that they had Obadiah on there, and they were showing the moon landing. So I had asked him, I said, yo, y'all believe in the moon landing? And he was like, yeah, bro, you know, see, you know, we helped them get on the moon. And I said, oh, damn, they are through, you know? And he was just going on like, yeah, bro, you know, it was three sisters that, and I was like, you talking about the three hidden figures, you know? And he was like, yeah, bro, yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, I know about it was like during the 60s, like, you know, the late 60s, you know. And he was like, yeah, he said, so at that time, you know, there was other nations fighting against each other. They was trying to compete to who could get up there first. And he was like, they couldn't get there yet, but now they're there. And he was like, this will really put the icing on the cake. He said, the reason why they're on the moon, they're building a base on the moon, so when the Lord comes, they can fight against him. And I looked at him, and my boss came by, and she was like, y'all here talking too long. And that was my exit to leave, because I wanted to say something. Like, because he was talking about the 6th military branch, and I was like, man, this dude is off. You know what I'm saying? Like, Esau ain't on the moon, man. Esau don't got no American flag on the moon, man. You know? But it's what they learning in IUIC. And matter of fact, hold on, let me when he said that, I was like, God damn, no. You know, Esau got technology that they're gonna use to fight the Lord here during the time of World War III. That's why prophecy is important. But the satellites, they got into the heavens, but they never set foot on the moon. And how do we know the water to, you know, the apostles and elders a great millstone? Because I started meditating, thinking about it. I said, this is probably why they brought this out back in the day, you know. But let me get it. Hold on. The Van Allen belt. Let me see what it says. Let me see what I ain't looked it up in a long time. But it says right here in the AI overview, it says the Van Allen belt are two regions of high energy charged particles, mostly electrons and protons, trapped by Earth's magnetic field. These belts, discovered by James Van Allen in 1958, pose a radiation hazard to spacecrafts and astronauts. They consist of an inner and outer belt with a temporarily third belt, sometimes appearing during space weather events. So there's two belts, you know, that affect spacecrafts and astronauts. So spacecrafts are dealing with like different metals, you know what I'm saying? But an astronaut is an actual person, you know. So this type of radiation, man, if you was to throw a live organism inside of a microwave, that motherfucker probably gonna explode. You know, like if you see like somebody put a rat inside of a microwave and turn the microwave on, that shit gonna probably explode. So I can only imagine the Most High set that parameter up so that way Esau cannot pass his bounds. You know what I'm saying? The Most High set that up, so Esau can't pass his bounds because Esau is destroying the earth, and he would try to go to another planet to try to restart all over, you know, to try to recreate and you know do more wickedness. So the Most High put a stop to all that shit, man. But that's a simple Google. All I did was Google that, you know. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you know a lot of things that IUIC teaches off, man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way we need new bodies to get out of the atmosphere. We need new bodies. Only the angels can travel in and out of the moon. You know what I'm saying? Out of the sun. And then, you know, they got bodies to withstand that heat. Because when you think about the moon, and matter of fact, hold on, what's that in the book of Sirach? I think it's the book of Sirach. Let me go to real fast. I'll go back to the book of Baruch. I think it's Sirach 43. Hold on, let me see. Let me go there real fast. Sirach 43. Let me see. Yep. When you think about the moon is a light. So a light is hot. You know what I'm saying? A light has heat to it. So the moon also has heat to it. It's a hot rock. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody standing on a hot rock. Your ass gonna melt. You know, but let's go to Ecclesiasticus 43:1. It says, the pride of the height, the clear firmament, the beauty of heaven with his glorious show. The sun, when it appeared, declaring at his rising a marvelous instrument, the work of the Most High. You know, so when we see the sun and the moon, the clouds, all these have meanings. You know, the moon is known as a measurement for time, just like the sun. All right, just like the sun is known as a measurement of time. Okay, you know that it's 12 or 1 o'clock when it's the hottest part of the day. You see that the sun is directly above you in the sky. That's how you know it's 12 or 1 o'clock. If you look at your clock, come outside, and you see it's 12 or 1 o'clock, you know that the sun is going to be directly above you. You know, so we understood these things, just like the tribe of Issachar. The tribe of Issachar understood astrology. When you see the stars, you know, those had Salakia. Those had meanings, you know, which the Heavenly Father took all that away from the tribes, you know. But you had the tribe of Issachar, the so-called Mexicans. They knew how to look at the stars and predict certain readings. You know what I'm saying? People nowadays, they look at astrology. They try to determine, oh, if you this zodiac and that zodiac, then this means this, that, and the third. You know, some of that shit be true, but a lot of that shit is witchcraft. You know, a lot of that shit is witchcraft. You know, a lot of that shit. You know, we don't get involved with that shit because it's off. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get that type of understanding back when the Lord opens our mind 100%, when we can could contain certain knowledge within within the vessels that the Lord's going to upgrade us to, you know, because certain knowledge you can't have in this vessel. I'm gonna just say that certain things the Lord gotta withhold from you because that shit could bug you out. Certain knowledge can bug you out. You know what I'm saying? That's why we don't over here we don't go too deep. You know what I'm saying? Like the elder brother Muatazak says all the time, man, if you can't swim, then your ass is bound to drizzle. You know what I'm saying? And you get certain cats and certain individuals that like to go too deep into shit. You know what I'm saying? You get a dude that be like, the Anunnakis, the fallen ones. You know what I'm saying? They was giants, brother. You know? When it's like, bro, the giants were just the sons of God that just fell from a statue. You know what I'm saying? The Anunnakis were actual people that were just tall ass Hamites. You know, you got Hamites that are just tall. You know, they just real pole-like individual people. You know, they just tall. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't. But it's people make shit overly complicated, overly deep. But the scriptures breaks it down clearly. If you could understand it, you know, shit. Esau throws out shit like fucking the earth is flat. You know, you got shit on TikTok that try to persuade your mind that the earth is flat. The earth is not flat. The earth is a sphere. So it's a globe. You know what I'm saying? All right, the earth is a globe. You know, they sit upon the waters. You know what I'm saying? All right, ain't no goddamn flat ass dome, flat ass disc. You know, and that type of shit I don't personally deal with and go too deep into it because I really don't care, you know. And if the scriptures say it, that's not what it is, and I just stick with the scriptures say. I personally don't let my mind go down the rabbit hole, you know, all right, because I don't want to know it. I'd rather it not be on my mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of brother that shit. I just keep it simple. You know, simple keeps me safe. If you just keep it simple, you just stay safe, you know. But individuals that go too overly deep into shit, you know what I'm saying? Eventually that deep spirit, that deep demon jumps on them, and then it has the carrying on to other shit that ain't true, ain't according to the scriptures, and then get to going off, you know? And then when you teach somebody else and spew that madness, now you got them going off, and then you get punished. So I'm cool. I don't want no problems with the Most High. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? But let me keep reading though, Slakia. I know I was rambling. Slakia. Ecclesiasticus 43:3. At noon it parcheth the country, and who can abide the burning heat thereof? A man blowing a furnace is in works of heat, but the sun burneth the mountains 3 times more. Breathing out fiery vapors and sending forth bright beams, it dimmeth the eyes, you know? And Esau right now, he knows that the sun doesn't work with their skin, you know? So you got Bill Gates that's trying to block out the sun. That's wicked, you know? Because the sun has a purpose. Just like the Alahayim said, when they created everything, they said, let it be good, you know? The so-called white man, he tries to manufacture streams dams, you know what I'm saying? He tries to manufacture different ways for convenience of life. These ways have already been created from the beginning. You know, you got natural rivers that go to the ocean that refilters and cycles himself. You got the Amazon rainforest that has flying rivers that spreads and gives water to the animals and to the plants that need it. You know, flying rivers. That's a real thing in the Amazon rainforest. You know, everything has already been created from the beginning for the earth to work in unison. It's like a circle of life. You know, Esau tries to take all these things and recreate so that way it works, but it doesn't work. There's all type of defects, you know, just like they have a water filtration system. Every house has a place where when you flush your toilet, that shit goes somewhere, you know, all right, and that piss and shitty water goes to a recycling plant, gets so-called filtered, all right, and then it gets sent right back to your faucet, your sink, and you're drinking it and getting all type of different metals, parasites, drugs all in your system, where now people are starting to sue the states and the counties that they live in, because now they're starting to have severe health problems. You know, that's because Esau is creating water system that he don't need to create. And then when he filtrates the shit, he got this shit going out of the plant into the ocean, and then it's polluting the waters in the ocean. You know, a prime example of that is what's that company? Dang brothers, man, what's that company? I think the DuPonts were in charge of it. They were creating a Teflon. You know, I forget if a brother know, but you they were it's called the Forever Chemical. It's called the Forever Chemical. But basically, they were creating this product, and a lot of the chemicals that they were dumping from creating it was highly toxic to the environment, but they were just dumping it out into the streams, and it was infecting the ecosystem. But not only infecting the ecosystem, because you got certain states where they have their own wells. So you had Edomites that were actually drinking from their wells, and the waste was getting into their wells, and still to this day they're starting to have they're having birth defects where their children are coming out deformed and with all type of problems, man. You know, I forget what the it's a documentary on it. It's a documentary on it though. You know, I think the DuPonts was behind it. You know what I'm saying? It's called the Forever Chemical. It's like 99 something percent that everybody in the US has that Forever Chemical inside of our body still to this day, you know? And you had other countries that were actually buying on this the products that they were using, you know, like certain cooking pans, frying pans, and they stopped they start banning these products to come into their country because of how bad the chemicals were, you know. All right, so everything that Esau does, it destroys, man. You know, everything that Esau does destroy, man. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta stick to the blueprint. The blueprint is how the Most High naturally created things to be. With, you know, that's how it's supposed to be. It's what we all gotta stick to. But let me go back to Sirach 43 and 5. It says, "Great is the Lord that madeth, and at his commandment runneth hastily. He made the moon also to serve in her season, for a declaration of times and a sign of the world." All right. So like I was making mention of IUIC, you know, you have let me see. Salakia, the enemies have opened their mouth against thee. Oh, that's scripture I looked for earlier at the water, brother. Let me read that real fast. Isaiah, Idaho, 2nd Ezra 6:28. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which have been so long without fruit shall be declared. The water for posting that, brother. I didn't even see it get posted up right here. The U.S. just attacked Iran. Hey, call lawyer liar. How about Shemal Shai, man? All right, I gotta check into that, brother. I gotta check into that. You know, hey, you know, I seen what Trump said. I seen what Trump said. He was talking about they're never gonna know. You know, when it happens, you know, pretty much it's gonna happen. You know how Trump talk. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it happened. I guess they did something. I know they had them stealth bombers that were waiting. So I don't know if it was a bomb or I don't know how they did it. Probably by a drone, but I'm gonna look into it, brother. The water for that. You know what I'm saying? That's World War III. World War III is getting ready to pop, baby. You know what I'm saying? So that let us know through the spirit that any day now, something major can happen here, a false flag event. You know what I'm saying? Where hey, the cities are locked down, you know? Martial laws and the troops. I think they just called thousands of more troops to come into the cities. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be chaos, riots, and more hell out here, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, so things gonna be locked down, terror is gonna happen, things gonna keep getting worse. We in them type of times, man. You know? That's why we gotta just stay clear and stick to the waters, man. You know? All right, stay in the secret place. All right, stay where we're protected, because this shit is out of here. This shit is done. She looking like she over there screaming. Oh, like, what's up, baby? Hey, the water for that, brother. You know, this shit is over, man. This shit can't keep going, man. You know, shit cannot keep going. But let me keep reading back. All right. So, matter of fact, hold on. Sirach 43. Let me read 6 again. He made the sun. I'm sorry. He made the moon also the servant of the season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. You know. All right. So the moon, when you look up the word moon, it goes back into what? What? The word month. You know. That's an easy Google. You know, you could Google etymology online. You know, where you can type in the word moon, and it's going to tell you right there. Moon and month are the same thing. You know, moon and month are the same thing. So every month, when the Sabbath comes in, it changes. Just like I believe the Sabbath is getting ready to change. The Sabbath is getting ready to change. You know, because the Sabbath right now is Monday. I want to say to Tuesday. The Sabbath is Monday to Tuesday. You know, Monday evening to Tuesday evening. But if I'm not mistaken, it's getting ready to change to Tuesday to Wednesday. If I'm not mistaken, if a brother could correct me, I got to double check though. You know, I know the Apostle just posted the video, but I believe it's going to be on the 24th. The 24th, the Sabbath comes in. The new Sabbath comes in, which is in a couple days. Matter of fact, let me see what day the 24th is. Today, let me see. Where's my calendar? Oh, here it is. My calendar. The 24th. Okay, yeah, the 24th is a Tuesday. The 24th is a Tuesday. You know. All right, so that would mean that it's going to be a double Shabbat. You know. So Monday sundown to Tuesday sundown is going to be the Sabbath, the last Sabbath of this month. You know, and then Tuesday to Wednesday, that's the new Sabbath. So it's going to be 48 hours. You know, it's going to be 48 hours. All right, which, you know, try not to work, no sex, things like that, no pleasures, man. You know what I'm saying? All right. So that show you that a lot of individuals in IUIC, they going off. They going off because they still believe that Friday to Saturday sundown is the Shabbat, man. You know, when the Sabbath changes. All right, so they going off. You know, matter of fact, let me get another precept on it. I think it's in Isaiah. This is important to know. This is part of our faith. Even though on a deeper level, you know, the scriptures say that we're not going to be saved by the law. Even though that the scriptures say that we're not going to be saved by the law, you know, because if we hold ourselves to the law, we shall be judged by it. And this is the reason why you have to lean and serve Yahweh Shai, because if you constantly harp your life on keeping everything in the law, you know, once you break one, you break them all. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to be held accountable to it. So with us serving Yahweh Shai, we have that grace, you know. You know, like Paul made the statement. He said, hey, the things that I would do, I don't. The things that I don't want to do, I do. Oh, thou wretched man that I am. You know what I'm saying? Paul understood that he's a wretched man. In his flesh, we wretched, bro. You know? But we got Yahweh Shai to what? Keep us balanced. Keep us in the right spirit. You know what I'm saying? To keep us doing what is right. It's the spirit that gives us that charisma to activate us, to lead us to doing what we need to do through the Holy Spirit to continue on. You know? Yahweh Shai gave us grace. All right? But you know, IUIC pushes the law. Hey, sister, you should be coming out of the church with them pants on, sister. You know? Hey, you know, it's a beautiful thing if she puts on a dress, she dressed modest, you know what I'm saying? But we in Babylon, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's gonna be, man. Women gonna put on, they gonna put on pants, they gonna put on shorts, they gonna put on all that shit, man. You know, spandex. We're not in our power, man. We're not in our kingdom, man. You know, for everything to be right. You know what I'm saying? Jay walking around like they got a righteous Sarah. All right, let me get the precept real fast. Hold on. Let me go to Isaiah about the Shabbat. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, yeah, here it is. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. All right. So from one new moon, the new meaning to refresh, you know. So you got a what is known as a moon cycle. You got the waning and you got the waxing phases of the moon. You know, you got the where the moon is a full moon, where it's completely visible in the sky, and then you got the new moon where the new moon goes dark. You know, you can't see the moon. All right, and then the moon starts to cycle all over. So once the new moon comes in, all right, then that's when the new month comes in. The new Sabbath comes in for that month. So every week, there's 4 weeks out of a month. Every week, when that day comes, you uphold the Sabbath. Now, mind you, we in captivity. So there's days that you're gonna have to work on the Sabbath, you know. And I'm gonna be real, to show you that it's a day of rest. You know, when I be at work on the Sabbath, it's like the Lord always hit me with that sleep demon. You know, I be at work just extra tired, and I be like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? I be hoping and praying to get out of there quick, so I ain't gotta deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta go to work. You know what I'm saying? Because shit, I got bills and I gotta take care of myself. All right. But hey, that's why we got grace. Because see, when you gotta go to work on the Sabbath, you know what I'm saying? We got grace. You gotta go handle your business. You know what I'm saying? And hey, keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? But Jake, they act like they follow the scripture to the T, and they don't. All right. Let me keep reading on that. Matter of fact, I'm reading it one more time. Isaiah 66 and 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. All right. So when you come to worship the Lord, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna worship Yahweh by Shema Shai 100%, man. Complete. Only Yahweh Shai did that. Only Yahweh Shai was a man able to keep everything perfect to the T. That's why he Yahweh Shai. That's why the Most High said, "This is my beloved son, in who I am well pleased in." All right. And then you know what? Matter of fact, let me go. Let me get what King Solomon said. Because he said, "Be not." Hold on. He said, "Be not overmuch righteous." This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 8, verse 16. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? You see? So don't make yourself over wise. Don't be overly righteous. You know what I'm saying? Like you just perfect. You know what I'm saying? We're not perfect. I had Jake that try to tell me that shit. Like, hey, brother, you think that you just perfect? And I looked at him and said, bro, you must not really know me, bro. You know what I mean? I'm the first to tell you I'm fucked up, bro. You know what I mean? And I need Yahweh Shai, bro. That's why I fight so hard, brother. You know what I mean? Don't try to push that shit on me, bro. All right, but there is a standard, man. And that's the problem with Jake. When Jake do come into the truth, Jake don't want to uphold to the standard, which the standard does make us seem like we are perfect, which we're not. All right. We just practice what we preach on a daily, and then when we see that something that is off, we're going to tell you of it to warn you to stay away from the evils. Because when you allow certain things into your spirit, it can corrupt and destroy you. So you have to have the mindset to shoo evil away from yourself, least that it can conquer or corrupt you. All right. So there's a sense of discipline that comes with you being in the truth. Let me keep reading on that, right? Let's go to verse 17. It says, be not overmuch wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time? So the purpose is to be balanced. You got to be balanced in this truth. You got to find the balance, you know? All right? No, we ain't watching videos 24/7 hours a day of the week. You know what I'm saying? You know? No, I ain't reading 24/7, you know? All right? I get my fair share of reading. I listen to the audio Bible, watch videos. It's a lot to keep up and contain, you know? I do my due diligence to go into the articles, look up certain videos. So I suffer through hours of videos of edifying information to give to brothers that, you know, are in the same spirit. So that way we can feed each other to push what is going on. You know what I'm saying? All right, we're like spiritual forecasters, you know? We're like the spiritual weathermen, you know? Every day is not going to be a sunny day. Every day is not going to be always to your liking. But hey, when the days get rainy, we're going to let you know it's a rainy day coming. Watch out. It's cloudy. You know? Prepare yourself. Get your umbrella, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? All right, we locked in for everything. That's a watchman. It's like a dog, you know? You got a dog, that motherfucker barking at everything. He just, everything he see, everything that move, that nigga just barking. Ooh. That's how we are in the spirit. We see shit happening, we jump on it. We pounce on it quick. You know what I'm saying? Like a lion in its prey, we pounce on it, you know? All right? And we edify, we warn. Okay? That's a true job of a prophet and a shepherd is to what? Look out for the sheep, you know? The sheep needs to be warned. Okay. Matter of fact, hold on. Some made mention of that. I know I was in Sirach, but let me go to let's go to Second Esdras. Let's go to Second Esdras 15. Let's go to Second Esdras 15, and let's start at verse. Let's start at verse. Let's start at verse 6. It says, "For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore saith the Lord, I will avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among the people. It says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. All right. So our people are led as a flock to the slaughter, you know. All right. Don't even realize it. Don't even know that they're the frog being boiled, you know, until it's what? Too late. You know what I'm saying? Just like we've been saying, you know, get your mind right. Prepare your household. You know, the devil is going to come down with great wrath, you know. Problem, reaction, solution, and Galilean dialect. You know, they create the problems. They get a reaction out of the people, and then they come with a solution behind it. You know what I'm saying? Everything that the devil is doing is these manufactured crises is all for what their plans for world control and world domination. You know what I'm saying? Because they got an agenda about themselves. You know, new world order. Novos ordo seclorum, you know, one world government, you know, and what's a part of that one world government? Micro C hipping the people, you know, everybody's going to have to make a decision. Everybody's going to have to take that chip, you know what I'm saying? And they showed you how easy it was to lock the world down during 2020. You know what I'm saying? You had Israel close their borders, America closed their borders, China closed its borders. Russia closed its borders, you know what I'm saying? They suspended air travels, you know? Barely people could even travel. All right, because of the C19, the Windows 19. You know what I'm saying? And you had people in a state of fear that went to go get the Maxine waters, man. You know? So they already know that they can scare you into taking this thing. So we just waiting for what's going to be the next move, you know? What type of new 9/11 is they going to present? What type of new one? You know what I'm saying? How they going to set it off like Queen Latifah, you know? All right? How they going to do it? We just anticipating. We just waiting for it. We know it's going to come, you know? That's why we preparing. We preparing what? Spiritually. Okay, because what? The scriptures say this. Let me get it real fast. Hold on, Hakim. All right, let me get it real fast. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 33. I'm going to go back to 2nd Esdras. Isaiah 33 and 6. For wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. You see? Knowledge and wisdom should be the stability of thy times. You know? All right? Let's look up the word stability for edification purposes. Instead of me saying it. You know, look all things up. All right? Let me see. Stability. All right. The Hebrew is amawana, which means firmness, fidelity, steadfastness, steadiness, you know? And that's why I named my channel Steadfast in Faith, you know? That's the type of faith we're going to all have to have during these type of dark and evil times, you know? They talking about grid failures because the infrastructure has not been rebuilt and maintained, or I'm not going to say maintained, but upgraded for years, you know? They've been talking about cyber attacks, that everything could go dark. I think just recently they just had some type of major like information leak, you know. So they've been throwing it out there, you know, and it'd be nothing for them to shut this place down and cut all the lights off in this place, you know. And you know what comes with no electricity? That means no water, no food. You know what I'm saying? And majority of these majority of the Americans, they don't have that much food in their pantries. Let's be real. A lot of these Americans, you know what I'm saying, low class citizens, low class working individuals, you know, that's making like 42,000, 45 a year, barely scraping to get by. They don't have that much food in their pantry or in their refrigerator. They could barely afford it. They could barely afford food right now, you know. So when the lights go out, you know what I'm saying, people gonna go into a state of panic, you know. And when things happen in a major way, things happen where it's a trickle effect, you know. The lights go out, transportation is down, communication is down. You know what I'm saying? So you can't call your loved ones. So the anticipation of the unknown, it scares the shit out of people. You know, when people be in a situation where it's unknown and they don't know what to do, they can't call their cousins, they can't call their friends, they can't call somebody they know that might know. It makes them afraid. You know what I'm saying? So people gonna have to lean into their own understanding. And then if you ain't got food, most people gonna try to rush to the store to go get food. And they might meet themselves with military there. You know what I'm saying? Telling you if you come into this store, we gonna shoot on sight. You know? All right? Or it might just be other individuals thinking like them that want to get food themselves. Which the love of many gonna wax cold. People gonna be like, nah, fuck that. I gotta survive. I got children. You know what I'm saying? I gotta take care of mine. You know? So they gonna kill you to take care of themselves. Everything is gonna be, it's gonna happen fast, and it's gonna have a major ripple effect. You know? Time of Jacob's trouble, like we've been saying. You know what I'm saying? That's coming. So you gotta have faith. And if you don't believe, if your faith is not strong, start praying for faith. You know? James, the brother of Yahweh Shai, you know, because Yahweh Shai did have brothers in the truth. James and Jude were Yahweh Shai's biological brothers. But James said, ask the Most High liberally, you know, and he will give it to thee. So you got to put them prayers up, man. You know, if you feel like your faith is weak, pray for more faith. You know, pray to Yahweh by Shemel Shai, increase your faith. You know what I'm saying? And he will, if you believe. You know, you got Raphael. You know, Raphael is the archangel that delivers the prayers to the inner courts, you know, to Yahweh Bashim Shai, man. You know, all right. He's a personal angel that delivers the prayers of the saints, man. You know what I'm saying? So you got to put them prayers. Prayers are healing. You know, what does Raphael name means? It means Rapa'ala, Rapa'ala, man. You know, Rapa I think means to heal, and then Allah meaning power. All right. So you can say like healing of the power, man. You know. So your prayers are healing, and then on top of that, your when you pray, your prayers are like energy charged. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a signal, just like your phone and your smart device sends up a signal that you can't see up to the satellite, and then it sends back down a signal through the satellite. Well, there's an energy, a frequency that goes up into the air. See, Esau took that from us. So when we pray, there's a frequency of energy that goes up to the heavens though, and it goes to Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, and uh uh hey, the Lord answers the prayers of the saints, man. You know, the prayers are important, man. You know what I'm saying? So you got to start practicing those things. So I'm gonna read the word I'm a one now right here. I'm in Isaiah 33:6. I'm looking up the word stability. The word stability, I'm a one now, which means firmness, fidelity, steadfastness, steadiness. And then it also means security. Woo, that's a good word right there, security. You know, the Lord said, hey, he shall give his angels charge over thee, that thou shalt neither dash thy foot against a stone. Now, hey, you know, I'm pretty sure all brothers in around the world have done this before. You know, you might have been walking in your crib, and then you stub your toe on the edge of your door or your bed, and you the first thing that comes to your lips is fuck. Your teeth grind down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That shit hurts. You know. So to not dash our foot against a stone means that the Lord's going to keep us from a type of trouble that's going to make destroy us, man. You know. All right, the Lord's going to keep us from these things. He's going to be a guide in the times of evil, man. You know. So let me look up the root word for amawana, which goes into the word amawan. That's the root word, which goes into faithfulness, trusting, faithful, trusty. All right. So faith. That's what we want to have in a time of Jacob's trouble is faith. You know. And right now we're building it up. We're building up our faith. You know, through what? Tribulations, hellish conditions that we catch. You know, we're gaining different experiences that the Most High is putting us through to fortify and make us strong. You know, you might think that. Let me go to Timothy's real fast. Let me see. It might be First Timothy's 5. Let me see. No, that's not it. You might think that what you going. You might think that what you're going through alone. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. Nah, man, the Lord, whatever he putting you through, yeah, it's a lonely road. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we do feel like we by ourselves, you know. All right, but that's part of us being a soldier, man. It's a solo thing we gotta deal with when it come down to us catching hell. Certain things you keep to yourself, you know. All right, but it hardens you. It leaves you emotionally detached from this place, you know. So when you catch hell and certain things affect your emotions, because we all got emotions, you know. But see the Yahweh Bashim Shai knows how to sever those emotions. He know how to cut those emotions from you. That later down the line you're going to realize, damn, I need the Lord to cut that emotion from me to not allow me to bend, to not allow me to fold. You know, all right. And he's doing it before that ultimate time comes. You know, certain things when you catch hell, you don't realize, you don't understand. Damn, why am I going through this? Damn, what the hell is shit? But it's a purpose, you know. So let me see real fast. Hold on. Let me get that word. Soldier. Hopefully I spelled it right. How do you spell that word? Soldier. All right. Oh, okay. Second Timothy's 3. I'm gonna start at 1. Second Timothy's 2 and 1. Second Timothy's 2 and 1. It says, "Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach Yahushua, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also." So that's what we do through the Holy Spirit. We commit these things unto faithful men who, in terms, you become built up, and then you teach others as well. You know, all right. We come into this thing to teach. That's why Great Millstone is a company of prophets. You know what I'm saying? All right, we're a company of prophets. We're active. We don't sit back on the sidelines. We don't just look at another man's merits and think that that man's merits is going to keep us saved and secure during the times of evil, and we ain't got no works behind it. Now, no knuckle dragging is allowed or permitted around us. You got to get your ass up and get it. You got to put in that work. You got to go hard for your how about Shema Shai. You got to put in that effort. You know, hey, hey, I'm gonna show you my faith by my works. You know, and you got examples. You got manuscripts that are examples of these things. Hey, how should a man be saved? By his works and by his faith. Shall he be delivered from the said apparels? You know, a prophet is the one that says things before it happens. you know, before you come to your ruins. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep reading though. It says, verse 3, "Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach." All right, let me look up the word. It might not say nothing for soldier. I don't remember saying anything for soldier though. But let me look it up. Oh man, that's the spirit though. The word soldier in the Greek though, the word soldier in the Greek is let me try to play it. Hold on, let me try to play it.
Strong's G 4757 Stratiotes. Stratiotes.
The word in the Greek is the word soldier in the Greek though. Hold on, slide. The word soldier in the Greek is stratiotes. All right. When you hear it straight, all right, stratiotes, straight. Okay. The word straight means a position of difficulty, you know? So a soldier is going to go through those positions of difficulty in order to what? Obtain the broad. It's a straight and narrow path that we on, but at the end of that pathway, there's a broad city that's going to give us rest. So you got to go through this straight in order for you to get to that place you want to be, All right. That's what we fighting for. We fighting for what? To be delivered and to be saved in these last days. You know what I'm saying? To be of the first fruits, Lord willing. All right. Beam me up, Scotty. We hoping that the Lord sees us. The Lord puts us in the chariot, all right, before those missiles rain down and utterly destroy this place. Because this bitch is going to burn. All right, this land is so polluted and filthy. All right, I see why the Lord's going to destroy this place, man. And it's going to never be inhabited ever again. So the word stratiotes is a common soldier, metaphor, a champion of the cause of a Mashiach, a champion, all right. What did Paul say about a champion? Let's get that real fast as well. All right, hold on. Let's get that as well. What did Paul say about a champion? He said, "We are more than conquerors." Let me grab that as well. Hold on. Romans, the 8th chapter. Very beautiful chapter to read. This is Romans chapter 8, verse 33. Matter of fact, let's start at verse 30 and read down into this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 29. It says, "For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren." All right, Lord willing, we those men, that were in the beginning, the first fruits. All right, predestinated in these times to come back throughout all the generations, as we've been doing our past lives, to keep preaching. And this is the last and final captivity. You know, hey, when it's championship time, hey, you gotta go hard. You know, what's the purpose of you going to the championship game? You know, half-ass. You know what I'm saying? Here it is. You know that you got the game tomorrow, but the night before, your ass is drinking. You know what I'm saying? You out there partying. You know, you just hanging out with all the women. You know what I'm saying? Well, and you got game day tomorrow. You're not going to be fully focused. You're not going to be fully in game mode. You're not going to be fully, you know what I'm saying, capable of performing the way you would if you was just sober. If you was just locked in. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is the fourth quarter. This is the championship. You know? We got to be locked in right now. You know? So it says, bear with me. It says, for whom he did foreknow, he also did predestine to be conformed to the image of his son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom he did predestinate them, he also called. And whom he called them, he also justified. And whom he justified them, he also glorified. What shall we say to these things? If the Most High be for us, who can be against us? You see? You know? No matter who comes up against us, no matter who scoffs, no matter who mocks, they're going to be confounded. They're the ones that's going to lose, you know? All right? They're the ones that's going to be put to shame. But we're going to be justified and vindicated in the end. You know what I'm saying? Which that's scriptural, because people are going to look like, damn, the one that I didn't think, the one that I just thought that he was just, you know, a nobody. He was always catching hell. He needed our help, you know. He's just barely getting by. You know what I'm saying? I thought that the God that he believed in didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? You know all the things that people think about you that's negative because you serving Yahweh by Shema Shai. You know? Hey, there's going to be individuals that's going to see you get beamed up into the ships. They're going to see you get beamed up into the chariot. You know, however the Lord has them see you get beamed to the ships, you know, that's how the Lord does it. But he's going to allow them to see, you know, and they're going to think in their mind, like, damn, that was the one that was numbered amongst the righteous, you know, while they getting destroyed. You know what I'm saying? At that moment, they were put to shame. Jake bugged out. Damn. Damn. But it says, he that spared not his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things? Who shall lay anything to the charge of the Most High's elect? It is Yahweh by Shema Shai that justifieth. Who is he that condemneth? It is a Mashiach that died, yet rather that is risen again, who is even at the right hand of the Most High, who also maketh intercession for us. Who shall separate us from the love of a Mashiach? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or perils of the sword? See? You see how that Strat Eos, the straight soldier, goes into the being a conqueror, because the tribulation, the stress, the hell that comes to serving the Lord, the temptation behind it, well, the elect are going to overcome all these things. They're going to bear it. They're going to move with a sense of purpose. You know, you could see a man and tell that a man by the way that he walks, that he walks with a sense of purpose. You know what I'm saying? All right, it's like, let me say that again. You can see a man the way that he walks, that he's focused. He's walking with a sense of person trying to accomplish his mission. You know, all right. That got to be us through the Spirit. We got to walk with a laser sharp focus. Just like the brother put out there. The U.S. just attacked Iran. And then what did Russia say? What did Russia say? Russia said, if you mess with my little homie, I'm gonna come after y'all. You know what I'm saying? In other words, you know, and you got Russia and China that are 100% on board with defending Iran. Ezekiel 38, baby. You know what I'm saying? Ezekiel 38. You know, Ezekiel 38. You know, oh man. All right, so hey, prophecy is jumping. You know what I'm saying? Jumping like Jordan. But let me keep reading, right? Verse 35, it says, who shall separate us from the love of a Mashiach? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril of the or sword? You see? So the sword ain't gonna shake us up, man. You know? We didn't have guns pulled out on us. We didn't have individuals threatening our lives. You know? Jake didn't thought about evil things to push us off the block. To no avail. We still here preaching. But guess what? We're not going to always be out here preaching these words. We're not going to always be a reprover to our people. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is going to hide the prophets. Okay? And when he hides the prophets, you better know that destruction is coming. All right? He's hiding us from the hell. Okay? And then those that are left out here, you gotta fend for yourself. It says, who shall separate us from the love of a Mashiach? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword? As it is written, for thy sake, we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. You know? Jake think that what we're doing is for naught. You know? Like we just gonna just die doing this. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna get old, and it's just like any other phase in our life. We just gonna get old and then, you know, raise children, and that's just gonna be it. No, you know what I'm saying? This ain't like no denomination or no religion out there. This ain't no religion. This is these words are living. You know, everything that we saying is gonna come to pass because why? The Lord says so. You know what I'm saying? The Lord said these things are gonna happen. You know, famine. Martial law is going to be out in the streets. You know, chaos was going to erupt. Civil war was going to happen. Race wars was going to happen. You know, the Lord said all these things are going to happen, and they happening. They just going to happen on a grand scale. Hey, we at the grand finale, man. You know what I'm saying? Huh. The grand finale. You know, the Lord about to close the curtains on this bitch, man. You know what I'm saying? Babylon the Great. This goddamn whore. This goddamn hellish country. You know? I'm American. I'm not a fucking American, man. You know? Alright? And I'm not subjugated just to only America. The Lord gave us the world to enjoy, man. But here it is, your ass is right in America, subjugated to fucking America, man. You know, when there's a whole world we couldn't be enjoying. You know? Alright? That's hell, bro. It's fucking hell. You know what I'm saying? We need to be free from this place. Working these goddamn 9 to 5s and all you can see and afford is a fucking apartment here. You know? And you mess with a woman that doesn't respect you. You know? She's here with you today and then she's gone tomorrow. You know? You gotta watch out for a lot of these women. A lot of these women are on social media, TikTok, fucking goddamn demon. Using witchcraft and means to try to keep a man. You know? It's like he was whatever he was going to do, whatever the spirit was on that dude to do, the Lord had his ass turn right around and fucking he got scared. Like as soon as I looked, that nigga got scared. Hey, the scriptures say they fear at the tremble. The demons fear at Yahweh Bashim Shah, they tremble, you know. So hey, when we doing what's right for the Lord, we got angels, man. The angels protect us, man. You know, the angels protect us, man. You know, and I almost had like I had an individual that fucking uh tested my faith. You know, pulled a gun out on me. You know what I'm saying? And I told him, you're gonna have to kill me, bro. You're just gonna have to kill me. You know, and I know Yahweh Shema Shai is with me, bro, because he didn't do it. And he clocked that bitch twice. You know? I stood there. You gonna have to kill me, bro. You know? I don't give a fuck, bro. I'm willing to die for what's right. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to die for what's right. And I'm not boasting or bragging. You know? But it's, you come to a realization we ain't got shit here. You know what I'm saying? You know? The only thing that we got here is Yahweh Shema Shai. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So shit, if that's an honor within itself to die for the Lord, man. You know? It's an honor. You know what I'm saying? To die for what you believe in. You know? Shit. We got brothers that are examples, man. You been to the Maccabean brothers, man. They died for the Lord, man. You know? They knew about being reborn, getting new bodies. And the one that brought the killing, they were going to still go down. You know, and we were going to be raised up. So fuck our enemies, man. And fuck all those that try to oppress and persecute us. They're going to get their reward soon. They're going to get their just dessert. So served on a cold dish. You know, served on a real cold dish. You know what I'm saying? Hey, how about Shema Shai got his eyes on all these motherfuckers out here that's against us, man? You know?
Oh, I know this place.
Yeah, about Shema Shai got his eyes on all these motherfuckers that are against us. Straight up. You know? A lot of these people really want to fucking kill us. A lot of these people really want to destroy us. You know what I'm saying? But let me read back in Romans 8. Romans 8 and 36. As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. You see? All right? We are more than conquerors through the Lord that loves us. You know? A conqueror is one that got the victory. You see what I'm saying? We just got to keep following after the examples of the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Being patient. You know? Being patient. We right here at the door of this thing. This thing is getting ready to go down. And when it goes down, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you're going to thank and praise Yahweh Shema Shai, man. You're going to thank and praise the Lord that you stood firm. You stood stiffly for the names of Yahweh Shema Shai. And guess who knows it? The Lord knows it. You know? You didn't change and persuade or get persuaded that this is not it. You know? You put all your eggs in one basket. You know? And it's the only basket to put your eggs in. You know what I'm saying? It's the only one. Everything else out here is tangible. All right? It's not built to last, you know, and it falls apart. But when it comes down to the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai and the words that we speak, everything is going to come to pass. Everything is going to happen according to these scriptures, you know? All right? The Lord say, hey, his word shall stand, you know? So, let me see. Matter of fact, let me read that again. Verse 37, nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angel, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor heights, nor depths, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Mashiach, our Lord. You know? So ain't no angels, you know? Ain't nothing gonna persuade us. No demons, no nothing. You know? No man, you know, gonna persuade us to separate ourselves from Yahweh by Shema Shai. We locked in. You know? Especially we be of those men. We locked in to the end. You know, trust. TRUST to the END. Straight up. Let me see. Let me see. That's it though. Right there. Let's go back. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that second Esdras. All right, second Esdras 15. And second Esdras 15 and 9, it says, and therefore said the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people was led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before and will destroy all the land thereof. You know, so the Lord's going to destroy this land. All right, that's the goal. All right, and just like we was in ancient Egypt, all right, when spiritual Egypt today, which is America, which is also known as Babylon the Great or the daughter of Babylon, okay, where all the ancient practices of all the different countries have all been erected here, you know. So this place is heavily built upon idolatry and sorcery and witchcraft, you know. All right, everything that we see, you know what I'm saying? Hey, the way that we write, you know, when we write, they have us write from left to right, you know. All right, when really we're supposed to be writing from right to left, you know what I'm saying? All right, when you writing in cursive, a curse is something ill that you speak upon somebody, you want to happen to somebody. So when you writing in cursive, writing things down can turn into signals and enchantments. So cursive, all right. When you're looking at social media, a media or a media outlet is to influence your mind. It's to control you. You know, mediums. You know what I'm saying? All right. You got Jake that's into the Kabbalah. You know, high level sorcery of witchcraft, and everybody's on board with what they do. Because in order to be prominent and to be somebody in the society, you got to sell out and serve Satan. You know? All right? This America is heavily a demonic place. Satanism. When you look up the word Balenciaga, okay, the word Balenciaga goes into let me see. I ain't looked it up in a while. Let me see. See, Esau trying to hide it. Esau trying to hide it. Yeah, he got some bullshit right here. It don't mean no house or place of the whaler. Let me see. Let me try this. Try Latin. Latin to English. Latin to English. Let me see. So I'm gonna try. What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna put in. Man, goddamn mosquitoes and shit. Balenciaga. So let me type that in. Let's see what that says. Yeah. See, so they trying to hide it because they know that information was coming out about Balenciaga. But Lord, so I'm gonna try to find it. You know what I'm saying? But basically, it goes into pretty much do as thou will. That's what it kind of goes into. Balenciaga. All right, but I'm about to get out of here because these goddamn mosquitoes is messing with me, man. They're trying to jack my blood. Pull my sleeves down. Fucking mosquitoes and shit. You know. Yeah. So Esau, hey, you search something up, you bring it out, and then you try to go back to bring it out again, and then next thing you know, it's gone. Esau scrubs the internet like that. You know. They be hiding everything, but Balenciaga goes into do as thou will. Nickelodeon goes into like I hate God. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, certain words they put that make it seem like it's for good and happiness, but a lot of these things have terrible meanings behind them. All right, so really, the ones who control these platforms, big major companies, news media outlets, are all 1948ers, the sons of Amalek, and we know that the sons of Amalek worship the Tammuz. All right, and they worship a book full of witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? All right, and a lot of their sorcerers are nothing but Satanists. Individuals that do witchcraft, man. So matter of fact, to end it, let me get one more precept. Let me go to the book of Isaiah chapter 19. I'm gonna end it right there. All right, Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1. It says this, and this is a message to Egypt, which is a message to America. All right, so it says, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud. All right, and those clouds are known as the chariots, not UAPs, not UFOs, chariots. All right, those are the swift clouds. Okay, it says, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. All right, the reason why the idols of Egypt are gonna be moved at his presence, because see, these idols that everybody worshiping and follows after, all right, they don't exist. Even though that Esau is using AI and artificial intelligence, which is to make them become alive and to make them seem as if they exist and they're real, they don't exist. All right. So the Lord, just like Yahweh Shai was in ancient Egypt, and the Most High was sending plagues on ancient Egypt, and he was confounding all the different idol gods. He getting ready to confound the idols that are erected here in Babylon the Great. All right, do the same thing over. There's nothing new under the sun. All right. So our powers is going to show that they're the only one in true powers. So it says, it shall come in Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbors, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So it's going to be a great war. All right, out in these streets, everything's going to be collapsing, breaking down. Hey, people getting ready to get drafted real soon. You know what I'm saying? Hey, while they're preparing for war, that means men, women, all right, are getting ready to get drafted to go overseas. Okay, and especially a lot of UYNs. A lot of UYN niggas, you getting ready to get drafted and sent overseas, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, and that's better than your ass going to prison. Because a lot of UYNs, your ass is becoming somebody's wife in prison right now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you young niggas at about 130 pounds, no muscles, no experience to life, and you about to be, you holding somebody's pockets because you decide to kill somebody because you thought that was cool because you represent the gang. See, niggas that's gang members is going to die, man. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gang members, man. Lord don't give a fuck about gang members, bro. Lord ain't with gang members. A lot of gang members go to prison for a reason because that's the only way out the streets, either in a coffin or in prison. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's not with gang members. So a lot of these young niggas, that's where they're going right now because they killing so many people. You know, and then a lot of these niggas got so many demons on them because they're monsters. They in court smiling about the shit. You know? So I believe the Lord's going to use a lot of these YN niggas to get sent overseas and then to cause terror in these cities. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. All right, so that's pretty much it. I'm out of here. Lord willing, this camp was edifying. My phone's getting ready to die, so 5%. So with that, I want to give all praise to our powers. Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah HaKwadash, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, and Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai. Call him Lord Yalah, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakah Lord, one out here next week. A ball, and a Kwam Yasharala, brothers. Shalom, shalom. Your brothers keep the faith. Shalom, brothers.